Do you ever feel like manifestation is just another thing on your to-do list that you don't have time for? Like your spiritual practice is something that you have to do? Honestly, you're not alone because I felt that way too. Something that's really changed my relationship with manifestation is blending it into my lifestyle so that no matter what I'm doing, I'm also manifesting. I call this manifestation as a lifestyle, and it's single handedly made the entire manifestation journey more enjoyable for me. And I've seen my desires show up with a lot more ease. Manifesting as a lifestyle has made manifestation go from feeling like a task to something I just naturally do because it's who I am. If you'd like to learn more about this, I've created a step by step guide for you. I'll link it in my show notes so you can check it out. You're listening to the Affirmation Addict podcast with Pyle Corley. This podcast will teach you about the power of affirmations while making manifestation easy and accessible for you in order to enhance your spiritual consciousness. Thank you so much for being here, and now it's time to get started. If you're looking for a space to navigate life's light and dark moments, I invite you to download my app, Affirm It. It's an app I crafted to help you create your spiritual practice because I know how hard it can be to manage your energy throughout all the different things life throws at us. So we celebrate the light and the dark. We're not asking you to be positive all the time. We're super, super raw, super real, and welcoming to all the feelings. And so inside of the app, I've created a ton of intentional features to help you with your spirituality. We have daily affirmations to help you stay consistent on your journey. We have guides, practices, and journaling to help you with the self-improvement. And we have guided meditations and visualizations to help you deepen your practice and connect to yourself. One of my favorite things that I've created for the app is actually guided affirmations. So it's something you listen to. It helps you effortlessly reprogram your limiting beliefs. And lastly, we have affirmation reminders. So that way you can get the good kind of notifications and affirm anytime and anywhere. So I invite you to download the app today, start your free 7-day trial, and after that, it's only $4.49 a month, and even less if you do our annual plan. Head to the show notes to download it on your phone today. Hi, everyone. Welcome to the Affirmation Podcast. My name is Pyle, and today we're going to be talking about overcoming sadness, hurt, and disappointment. I am trying to work on talking about different feelings that a lot of us have, whether it comes from a certain person, whether it comes to something we're manifesting and things are not going as expected. I think our feelings are such a big part of who we are and the way our energy is and how we shift that. I am working on acknowledging and articulating more about our feelings. And so you'll notice a slight shift that I'm talking about just deeper, broader feelings. And I hope it's helpful because I think these concepts can be applied no matter what these feelings are towards, right? So today we're talking about sadness, disappointment, and hurt. Maybe right now you're experiencing that from a person, or maybe it's something in the past, or maybe it's something at work. So all of the kind of areas of life can change, but the emotions still are the core. So I'm going to be talking about 3 ways to kind of overcome these feelings, navigate them, and a little practice you can do for any time these feelings come up. So firstly, I always love starting with compassion. I think this is the hardest, but whatever is causing you or creating sadness, hurt, and disappointment, typically this is from kind of that letdown feeling. And if someone is letting you down or something is letting you down, is there a way you can find compassion? Now let's backpedal a little bit. What does compassion mean? For me, compassion is understanding, seeing maybe a different perspective, maybe seeing that person's perspective, even if you totally disagree with it, or seeing maybe is there something that I'm not even noticing? I think that's compassion, is being okay with maybe you don't understand. And it kind of loops into a little bit of trusting the universe and trusting this process that you're in, that there is a reason for this. So how to find compassion to me is whenever I notice those thoughts and feelings of sadness and disappointment coming up, I just try, and when I notice it, when I'm aware that I'm feeling that, I just breathe and I'm like, okay, I talk to myself. I'm like, how can I find compassion? And I just think, right? I'm exploring different possibilities. Is there something that I'm not seeing that this person is going through? Or is there a bigger picture that I'm missing? And what could that bigger picture be? It's almost like letting your mind wander in a very intentional way. It's thinking through different scenarios and possibilities that might be coming up. Now, number 2 is acceptance. So this is very much so in kind of context to relationships, where if you are in a relationship and that's a friendship or a romantic relationship or a work relationship, and someone hurts you or disappoints you or makes you sad, I firmly believe the biggest thing that helps me is just accepting how I'm feeling. I'm accepting that I'm not okay right now. I'm accepting that I'm sad. I'm accepting that I'm hurt. And I'm acknowledging that. Now, acknowledging doesn't mean necessarily that you're blaming that person. I think acknowledging is just sitting with that and being like, yeah, this is actually how I'm feeling and I'm uncomfortable with it. And I'm going to do something about it. And what that something is up to you. For me, acceptance really comes with acknowledgement and a conversation. I love talking things out because otherwise it eats me up inside. And it's scary. I'm not going to lie. It's scary to have tough conversations. And I like to hear the other person's perspective also, because I think if it's a relationship, it's mutual, right? And if it's a point in a relationship where this is more of like a breakup, talk to somebody else about it. Talk to a friend or a loved one and just talk it out. Because I personally think talking it out helps you just be in alignment with the situation and be in alignment with how you feel. It doesn't mean that you're going to feel better right away, but I think accepting it and being honest that this is how you feel is very important, because I think we tend to have a little bit of run from our feelings when they're hard. I get it. I do it too. Actually, speaking of last night, I kind of had a little bit of a freak out linked to my fear of disappointing people in my life. I just couldn't, I thought it was like something else. I thought it was a TV show triggering me, but then I realized this is actually me being scared of disappointing someone and not feeling worthy enough. And then I had a panic attack. So very interesting how these emotions come up. And the way it finally went away is when I accepted, wow, I'm actually scared of disappointing you. And I know it's irrational, but it's just a feeling that's there. So accepting the feelings for what they are without judgment, without trying to assign too much meaning, just accept it. Accept that this is a feeling. And maybe there is a lot of meaning, but maybe there's not. Maybe there is no lesson to be learned. And it's just a feeling that's navigating through you. So truly accepting it. And your version of acceptance can be just talking to yourself. It can be talking to the person or situation, writing it out, or just sitting and breathing into the feeling. And that's very difficult because we want to run. So maybe support yourself by playing some music to help you navigate that feeling. Just accepting it and being with the feeling. And thirdly, my favorite is forgiveness. Forgiveness is, I think, a very healing and a very compassionate act. And I don't think forgiveness is just a thought or a state of being. I do think forgiveness is a practice. I think you have to actively choose to forgive. And one thing I want to clarify is forgiveness does not mean that you're okay with it or that you're happy with it. Forgiveness means that you are willing to come to terms with what happened. And that's all. I think forgiveness is a way of you claiming and declaring that you are ready for this not to eat up your energy anymore. Whether or not the other person involved or the other situation or whatever else is involved, whether or not anybody else changes, forgiveness to me is an act of courage where you're like, I am done letting this affect me. So I am choosing to forgive. I am choosing to be forgiving and not hold sadness, disappointment, and hurt. It's a way of releasing. In terms of how to forgive, I do have a forgiveness guide for you inside of Affirm It. And another thing to explore is just exploring what forgiveness means for you. What is forgiveness? How does it feel? And what is a way that you can choose to say, I forgive you and I'm not letting you affect me anymore. I'm not letting this emotion affect me anymore. To me, that's what forgiveness is. And so a little bit of a practice, a little bit of tips I have for you when it comes to forgiveness and overcoming sadness, disappointment, and hurt is I have some guided affirmations for you inside of the app. And for me, whenever I feel uncomfortable, whenever I feel sad, I actually just listen to these and cry. It is so healing. You might not like that. It might sound a little depressing, but I love it. I feel like I'm releasing. I feel like it's helping me process, and my thoughts are being shifted to thoughts that are reframing the way I'm seeing this situation. It's a very supportive tool for me. Second, I also have some affirmations. You can write them or read them per usual. You can go into Affirm It, find the Overcoming Sadness collection, and just swipe through and read those affirmations or write them down. And lastly, like I mentioned, I have a forgiveness guide. So it will just kind of be like a little mini guide on what forgiveness is and help you kind of self-explore your own version of forgiveness. If you are looking to experience and play with more forgiveness, a really powerful tool is I might not pronounce it correctly, but it's called Ho'oponopono. It's a Hawaiian forgiveness ritual where you say, thank you, I love you, I'm sorry, I forgive you. And then the other version of it is thank you, I love you, I'm sorry, please forgive me. And it's a very healing, it's kind of like an affirmation. And the way it's used is you repeat this over and over until you feel the shift. There's a really beautiful book on it. I'll try and link it in my show notes for you. And it's a very powerful book that teaches you how to forgive, but also I talk about that a little bit in the guide as well. So there's tons of tools for you to actually overcome the sadness, disappointment, and hurt. And I would love to hear that whenever you do feel these emotions next, if you actually use these, let me know. Let me know how it feels. Let me know if it actually makes you feel better. I'm always curious to see if these practices are really resonating with you. They resonate with me, and my only intention and hope is that they resonate with you as much as they help me. And so my last little note on sadness, disappointment, and hurt is just a piece of information is try not to blame, try not to eliminate yourself from all responsibility. What if you could take a little bit of ownership that maybe you're not the one doing anything wrong, but you do have a role to play in feeling this emotion in a sense where you're allowing this emotion and you are feeling it. And that's not a bad thing, but that sometimes helps me process it better. So just came to me before I was about to sign off. So I hope this episode was helpful. I will see you next week. I love you. And I hope your week is filled with beauty. I hope it's filled with wonder. And I hope it's filled with a lot of good energy. I'll talk to you soon. Mwah. Bye. I always get a ton of questions in my DMs from people asking how I can manifest X. The truth is, you can really manifest anything as long as it's for the greatest good. And if you're having trouble manifesting something right now, or you feel stuck on your journey, I have a really beautiful resource I've made for you. It's a free quiz. It's called the Manifestation Archetype Quiz. And it's something that I've created so you can find out your manifestation style to give you more clarity on your spiritual journey. After taking the quiz, you're going to receive the best resources for your specific archetype to help you attract your desires based on where you're at and what you want to create. So you can find a link to the quiz in the show notes, or just head to my website at www.affirmation-addict.com. Thank you from the bottom of my heart for listening, and I hope you enjoyed today's episode. If this episode resonated with you, it would mean the world to me if you could rate and review the podcast and share it on your social media so I know to keep creating episodes that are inspiring you to manifest. I'm so genuinely grateful for the time we shared today, and I'd love for you to join the community by following @Affirmation Addict on Instagram. To continue diving into spirituality and manifestation, head over to my website, affirmation-addict.com. Until next time, I'm sending you so much love and so much healing energy.